Coming up next on Tech News Today, Snapchat is leaving Twitter in the dust when it comes to daily active users. Also, Pebble Core is going to be friends with Amazon's Alexa. Isn't that nice? Fallout for Xbox One finally supports mods. It only took Bethesda 15 years to do it. And self-driving cars will also have self-honking horns. This is the future. Coming up next on Tech News Today.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This is Tech News Today, episode 1526, recorded Thursday, June 2nd, 2016.
This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Tracker, a coin-sized tracking device that pairs with your smartphone and keeps you from losing your most valued possessions. Visit thetracker.com right now to take advantage of their Father's Day limited sale through June 13th and enter promo code TNT for a free color upgrade. Hi there, this is Tech News Today. Hi.
Hi. Oh, hi. I know you. I know you. I know you.
This is the show where we talk about all of the technology news with people who are passionate about technology. I am Megan Morrone.
And I'm Jason Howell. Our passionate technology person today is Russ Pitts. Welcoming back Russ Pitts. How's it going, Russ?
It's going really well. I'm a passionate technology person.
That's right.
You're just passionate and you like technology.
I do. I like technology.
That's the requirement. We've got a form that we fill out every time we work on a new guest for the show, and there's a little checkbox. Is passionate about technology and is a person? Question mark? Check. And it works.
The one that was no to the second one was crazy shit.
Yeah, that was weird. That was like AI.
Yeah.
Unreleased. Let's talk about some technology news and be passionate about it. Why don't we? Sources to Bloomberg say that Snapchat, the 4-year-old ephemeral messaging app that exploded with younger users, that we talk about all the time, I probably don't even have to describe it this way, but has seen growth in broader demographics lately, as we've also talked about, now has around 150 million active daily users. That's up from 110 daily actives just last December. So that's like crazy growth in a short amount of time. Compare Snapchat's 150 million to Twitter's estimated 140 million daily actives, and it paints a picture of Twitter's struggle, as you can see, compared to its competition. Why the big difference here? Russ, are you a big fan of Snapchat as it's kind of opening up and everyone's using it? I'm still struggling to like integrate it into my daily life. What about you?
Yeah, I tell you, every once in a while, I'm a little bit behind the curve on one of the new services, and Snapchat has been right in my blind spot until fairly recently.
Yeah.
But I can see why. It's popular, and I can see why a lot of folks might be taken to it as an alternative to Twitter. I think there are, Twitter. I was actually an early adopter of Twitter, and it's been fantastic. But there are some, I think there are some challenges that they're facing due to the legacy elements of the service that are now starting to bite them. Not the least of which has been just a lot of harassment and uncomfortable situations that people are facing using that as a way to connect with their followers. I think a lot of high-profile people are looking for an alternative now.
Yeah, I don't really see Snapchat as an alternative to Twitter. I mean, I think
that was gonna be my question.
Really different to me, but I happen to have a teenager living in my home, my daughter, so I understand Snapchat, and I believe it's real. So, like, there's a lot of things. There's the things you see, the people throwing up rainbows and all of the Snap stories, but then there's something called the Snap Streak, which is, like, she has this with several of her friends. There's Jason, if you're watching the video.
I forgot about that
Snapchat
video.
Face.
Ryan.
But so the Snapchat Streak, it's Snap Streak. It tells you like how many snaps. So she has like a few friends that she has like 130 day. That's every day they've sent a Snapchat to each other. Like, do you have anyone that you've like,
that you contact every single day other than your significant other?
Yeah. I mean, even that, I'm sure, like, I've been on vacation. I'm like, I don't even know if, like, maybe we talked that day. But she has friends that, and it shows you. And so it really encourages people to stay on it. And even she went to camp with her school and they didn't have their phones. And she gave her login to a friend so she would not break her streak. So like that's it. Like she was not on technology, but like someone was visiting Snapchat on her phone.
That's cheating.
Well,
I don't actually know.
You could tell her that. I'm a little scared of her.
I'm guessing anyways.
Yeah.
Imagine when you give your login credentials to somebody else and say, snap for me, please.
Yeah,
So I don't
no,
break this
you know, and often it was the person she was snapping with. Like it
Yeah.
was snapping back and forth with yourself. I don't know.
Well, I mean, is it fair to compare Twitter to Snapchat? Because like you say, they are very different. Twitter doesn't have a lot of this kind of gamified aspect that Snapchat has, and maybe that's obviously a big strength for Snapchat based on the kind of target demographic when it launched. That's perfect for the younger users, right? They love just gamified things. They love things that do crazy things like, you know, distort your face and, like you say, vomit
Rainbows.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Not other things, because that would be weird. Because that would be weird.
You can shoot fire out of your eyes.
So I don't know. I mean, you compare that, right? Like you compare all of these features that Snapchat has that are fun and engaging, and maybe the user interface isn't the easiest thing to use right out of the box, but once you understand it and you can kind of, you know, jump into its key features that really differentiate it, it's a fun experience. Twitter has a lot of baggage with it. Like I suppose it can be, you know, considered fun. I don't understand how you might apply that to Twitter, but maybe that's what's lacking here, is that Twitter is just kind of cryptic and in comparison.
I think, you know, when Twitter first came out, it was fun because it was novel, right? You could very quickly and easily connect with people no matter what. I remember when I first joined Twitter, I was watching South by Southwest, and someone had I think it was QDOT had actually programmed the couch they were sitting on live at South by Southwest to vibrate every time someone tweeted a hashtag at them, right? And then hashtags were new, right? And this was 10 years ago that all these things were new and awesome. I don't think Twitter has done a good enough job of keeping up with what users expect now that things like hashtags have become ubiquitous.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can compare the two in terms of they're companies that want more average daily users. They want that number to be high, or, you know, monthly user. I think what Evan Spiegel of Snapchat was, he wouldn't release the monthly users because he said, we're engaging people so deeply. We're talking about daily, hourly users.
Right.
And I think that's true.
I think that's probably very true.
And, you know, I mean, the younger generation does use technology, I think, more often than the older generation. That might not actually be accurate, but it seems like it does. It seems like they're using
certainly
it more
has that
often.
pull.
Yeah.
And Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey was speaking at Recode's Code Conference, and he actually, you know, in light of this news, basically said Snapchat is a very modern service, and admitted that he understands why certain elements of Twitter can be kind of confusing to its base users in comparison. So, you know, obviously, I don't think Twitter, you know, has been living in a fantasy world where they don't think that their service is not confusing. So, but it's good to hear him say that in comparison.
I mean, I think ultimately they all want to be Facebook. They want to outgrow that, like we've talked about before. They want to outgrow that, just like this is the fun place for us to go to be everything. And whether Snapchat is going to be that, we'll see.
Yes.
Well, last week we told you about the new Pebble Core. That's a new device for runners and hackers. It will stream your Spotify playlist, track your runs, and according to the Kickstarter page, it will include a, quote, magic button for anything. Of course, I backed that immediately. Today, Pebble announced that the button will also have Amazon Alexa integration, which is a new thing, a portable Alexa. I am really excited about this. Unfortunately, it's not set to ship until early next year. And that's, I mean, I assume that that Pebble will keep their Kickstarter date. But I'm really excited about this. This is like a portable Alexa, like a button, like it's very Star Trek. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
I missed that there was any sort of voice assistant as part of the announcement, but apparently it was there. What I find interesting is that Pebble actually has a history here. Reading through this article, it had kind of a fascinating look into a service that they were doing called Concierge. They were testing this first with Pebble employees, and then they were kind of opening up as a free service. And essentially it was bringing a human touch to like this concierge aspect of their Pebble devices. So you could, you know, have someone get you an avocado, or you could have someone move your car for you, or whatever. It was not an AI-driven system. It was actually a human being on the other side of the system, and they wanted probably eventually to make the Pebble devices be useful from that regard and kind of be the anti-AI essentially, and do all the things that the other services just kind of talk about. Well, now you've got someone actually executing on those things. But of course, the company prepared to lay off a quarter of its staff, its workforce, and it didn't make sense to keep on all of these people to run the testing of this service and to eventually roll it out. And then what do you know? Alexa has its openness of its platform. Seems like a perfect fit.
Yeah, you can get avocados on Amazon. Who needs?
That's true. Maybe eventually the little drone will deliver it to you same day. So you never know. I don't know. You gonna get one of these?
I think I probably will. Yeah, I had a car once that had that concierge service, and you could press the button and you say, "Hey, I'm trying to find a Chipotle. Can you route me to a Chipotle?" And they'd look it up and they'd send the map down to the car. And that I could see myself getting addicted to that, and then I would feel bad for that poor person who had to sit there all day waiting, for someone to look for directions to a Chipotle. But but Alexa, if it's AI and it's just pulling stuff from the web, I could really get into that. I think that would be super exciting.
Yeah, the device is going to be $69 if you back it now. I think you have
I think those are all burned
They're
out.
all gone?
Yeah, the discounted price is all
I will
burned
sell
out
it to you,
now.
Jason, for $269.
Well, no, I can get it for the normal price, which is like $99.
But you can get it first.
You could sell me yours for $89. You'll make $20, and then you only pay. No, wait,
That's
that's
true.
Yeah.
So they're $99. Now, was there a $79 option too? I didn't see what that was.
I didn't see the $79.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about this, but then when I really thought about it, like, am I gonna buy things on Amazon while I'm running, or I guess if I'm just out and about. I mean, we talked about the Amazon Tap, which is the current portable Alexa, which I guess is around this big. I don't really consider that portable. I like the idea that it's going to be a button on my.
Just clip it to your pocket,
or put it on
and
your
you got
keychain.
Yeah, I mean the requirement here, of course, is that you have a Bluetooth headset of some sort, or
Right.
or a phone kind of synced up to it, because it doesn't actually have a microphone on the device, so you're going to need to sync it that way. But very cool. I think it's a match made in heaven.
I think if we can sync that to a car, then that then that fulfills my wish of being Knight Rider, or Batman.
Someday, Russ.
Bring me an avocado.
We'll do it. Yes. Bring me an avocado.
Ordering avocados.
Make sure it's ripe.
Yes.
I want
Squeeze.
I want some
that is the
guacamole.
problem. No, if Alexa can make sure the avocado feels exactly like I want an avocado to feel
Yeah,
when
that's
I buy
true.
it.
I mean,
And-
seriously, are they going to understand the difference between a firm avocado and a too soft avocado? These are important questions.
They really are.
Moving on. Chinese hardware company Xiaomi, and we've been talking about a lot lately, by the way, may be doing many things to bring its products to markets outside of Asia, but one of its more popular products, the Mi Band fitness wearable, is getting a follow-up, and at least for the time being, it's only said to be available in China. The Mi Band 2 hits the market on June 7th for sale in China for $23. And this time it's going to include a scratch-resistant OLED display that shows the time, heart rate, calories burned, steps taken, battery details, and other details. The original Mi Band had no such display, so that's probably why the Mi Band 2 sells for around $9 more than the first one. I mean, the first one was in the teen. It was like $17 or something like that. It was one of those no-brainer, like, okay, I'll get it. A fitness band for $17. It does all these things. It's got all these connections that it can make to your phone to like ring with notifications and everything. So the Mi Band 2 is going to do that as well. 20-day battery life on a single charge. Just kind of following Xiaomi's, reputation for low-cost, high-quality hardware. This thing's pretty cool looking.
Yeah, who doesn't want a $23 fitness device? I mean, it's a heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
But my question is, if it has a 20-day battery life, is that
Yeah,
what
on
you
a
said?
single charge, yeah.
How could it do continuous heart rate monitoring? It must. I mean, that seems difficult to me.
It's a great question. I don't know how they're able to pull it off.
Yeah, it might not be continuous. You might just say, only because this doesn't do continuous. My Apple Watch doesn't. It's just during a workout, and then it doesn't make it till the end of the day. But it has a lot more features.
Yeah.
But there are some similar features in the Mi Band that they got from the Apple Watch. I know it will notify you if you're sitting too long, or it unlocks you can use it to unlock your Xiaomi phone. So again, it's like Xiaomi does these tiny little things that are exactly like Apple and sells them for like an eighth of the price.
Yeah, but actually, I will go ahead and say the original Mi Band, which they released 2 years ago, did some of those things too. Yeah.
So what you're saying is
first? Apple's copying Xiaomi.
Else? What?
I didn't know that was possible.
I didn't hear that.
Are you interested in these fitness bands, Russ? $23 is kind of like, you could sneeze that, maybe.
I think, yeah, that's
Can you sneeze money, by the way? If so, that's an amazing talent.
Oh, wait. This is a 5 that I just sneezed. So
Wow,
I can do that like 4 more times.
Wow,
maybe?
you are amazing.
I read hobo sign, so I have all these skills that we haven't even begun to tap. I have just started getting into fitness trackers. I use one when I go biking now. I think they're great. I think they're just now getting to the point where they're functional enough and they give you enough feedback and they integrate well enough with the apps that they're worth it. That it's not just a novelty. So I think a fitness tracker that would last 20 days on a charge and maybe also tell time, that'd be great. What I'm using right now tells you get the day on here. See, the time and the date.
But what is this like cryptic method of telling time? Like it's not just numbers; it's like a wheel thing with arms.
It goes around a few times, and then you, depending on where you have to learn the language. Just a lot like hobo sign.
I'm not a huge fan of the UI of that watch.
Kyle Ruggles in our chat room says, how many cheap devices can you own? Which thank you very much. It's a good point. I've already said I'll buy that and I'll buy that twice already in this show, and it's only been about a half an hour. So yeah, it's a good reminder that even though it only costs $20, it's still, someone had to make it, and it, probably has all kinds of poisonous things inside of it that someone has to then deal with afterwards. And so, yeah, I get it. My question, if I were to buy it, I know it's not available in the U.S., but I see all these links to websites. I looked on Reddit. Where do you buy your Xiaomi stuff? Is it
right
legal
now
to buy things in the United States?
Yeah, it is, and you can import it if you absolutely can't get like a smartphone, for example, which they don't sell any of their smartphones in the U.S. There are importers that you can, you pay more than what you pay if you lived in China and bought the phone outright, but you can get it. That's how I got the Mi 4, actually. But the Mi Band 1 sells through Xiaomi's Mi.com store right now for $14.99. So you can still get that. I'm guessing they're going to put this up on the Mi store at Mi.com as well. And if you're in the U.S., they ship to the U.S. and everything, and they put the items up there in U.S. dollars. So I'm guessing it'll hit there eventually. But you just won't be able to go to a store and find the Mi Band 2.
Good to know. Well, Apple released a new version of iOS 9.3.2 for the 9.7-inch iPad Pro after some users complained that their devices were bricked after installing the original update last month. My iPad Pro was not bricked, and I installed the update. So not everyone. Ars Technica said it might be possible to fix a bricked iPad by connecting it to a Mac or a PC running iTunes, but I have not tested that myself yet. So Apple will, I think, they will replace your device if it's been bricked, but that involves going to an Apple store and really frustrating. So a lot of people are frustrated with this. This is a $600 iPad that, broke essentially when you did the update. So it's really frustrating. I don't know what the extent. It's a lot of people. I don't know what a lot of people means, but it's what do you guys think?
I can only really compare it to my experience on Android, right? Because they don't have a whole lot of iOS experience. And with my Nexus 9 tablet, when I got an over-the-air update to a later version, it kind of did the same thing, and I had to totally hack at it, and do a total hack job, and flash the developer preview of the current. Before it was beta, the Android N, the very first version of Android N, because there was some random thing in the settings that allowed me to do that without having this security feature activated, which I hadn't done in advance. So otherwise, it would have been impossible for me to get my tablet working again. So I guess all I can say is it happens, right? Like none of these, all the technology is potentially, capable of encountering some update that breaks the device or that slows it down and you have to do some sort of a fix. Apple's pretty good at figuring out a solution for these things, so good on them.
All right, in other news, the Apple App Store and the Apple TV went down today for some users, and yet life continued on, and it did not cause a zombie apocalypse-type mass panic, as I suspected it would. The App Store is now up. Some services are still down. I think iCloud Backup, iCloud Drive. By the time you watch this, they might already be up.
Yeah, most of them are up now. I don't know, did it affect you?
Nope.
Did it hit you at the core?
It did not.
Oh.
It reminded me to take an analog bath, or what do you call it? Forest bathing.
A forest bath. Yeah, forest bathing.
From
walk around
Becky
in the
Worley.
forest.
Like, occasionally you need to get away from your technology, and she calls it a forest bath, or Shinrin Yoku.
Yeah, something like that. I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
Earlier, I asked Siri to bring me an avocado, and she wasn't able to do that. I don't know if this is related or if she just doesn't have that functionality.
I'm not sure Siri has the avocado algorithm installed
I don't
yet.
know. But this morning, when I was driving to work, I suddenly needed to know the name.
There it is.
Thank you, Brian.
There's my
Yeah.
avocado.
There it
Thanks,
is.
Siri. That was delayed, much delayed.
And perfectly ripe as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
really. I don't know. It
really
looked a little
impressive.
green. It looked a little green to me. I feel like
Yeah.
it's you put a spoon in that one and it would be a little too firm. You wouldn't be able to make very good guacamole out of that. avocado.
So when I was
Siri,
driving,
bring me 2 more of those and some sour cream. Thank you.
when I was driving to work, I really needed to know, for some reason, the name of the movie The Big Chill, and I could not remember it. It was one of those things, and I kept asking Siri, and I was like, it was a movie with Kevin Kline. He was in A Fish Called Wanda. And she was no help at all. It was just, so yeah, maybe I really do need the
You need those
the device,
services.
the Pebble device. After the break, more avocado talk and a few controversies that are brewing in the gaming community, and Russ is here to explain it all to us. But first, let's take a minute to thank Tracker, the sponsor of this episode. As I've already mentioned, I like tiny devices that I can attach to my keychain or my shirt. It makes me feel like I'm in Star Trek. My Tracker is one of those coin-sized devices. It locates misplaced keys, wallets, computers, even pets in seconds. You can pair Tracker to your iOS or your Android device, attach it to anything via key loop or adhesive, find its precise location with the tap of a button. It is that easy. You can customize two-way separation alerts to receive notifications before you leave your items behind. If you lose your phone, you can press the button on Tracker and your phone rings even when it's on silent. The Tracker Bravo is constructed with beautiful anodized aluminum for the thinnest and most durable tracking. With over 1.5 million devices, Tracker has the largest crowdsourced GPS network in the world, so your lost item shows up on a map even if it's miles away. Tracker recently introduced Tracker Atlas, which works with your Tracker Bravo or a third-party Bluetooth tracker to pinpoint your items on a customizable floor plan of your home. Save time and energy by simply asking Tracker Atlas where your item is, and you will instantly get an answer. No need to search. Tracker is enabled by Bluetooth Low Energy, so the battery lasts over a year. You can also purchase a water-resistant case, which is perfect for pet collars. The hardest thing you'll ever have to find is their website. Go to thetrackr.com and don't miss their Father's Day limited time sale from now through June 13th. Buy 2 devices and get 2 free. Plus, just for our audience, enter promo code TNT to get a free color upgrade. That's TheTrackr.com, promo code TNT.
All right, let's talk gaming for a little bit. Russ, that's right. You're on the spot. First up, Fallout mod support. Rolled out to the Xbox One on Tuesday, and the makers of the game tweeted out that support has been insane as compared to the PC. What does this say about console gamers' thirst for modding? What do you think?
I think it says that thirst has been there. As Bethesda says, they've been trying to roll this out for 15 years.
Wow.
And that would take it all the way back to the original Xbox, which would be the first console with a hard drive, right? The first console that would technically be possible to mod. And they finally got it together. I know there's a lot of obstacles there. And I think the more popular games like Fallout, for example, have become, they've seen a concurrent rise, on consoles, on PCs, and a lot of people playing Fallout on the Xbox and also the PlayStation consoles. So to be able to bring this type of modding to that audience is huge. I think it says that there's, to see, what do they say, like 5 times as much traffic activating these mods as they saw when they activated them on the PC version. I didn't expect that. So that to me says that there's way more people on consoles who want to be able to mod this game, or perhaps have the experience of playing mods, which maybe, you know, once on the console, you haven't ever been able to do. So maybe there's that sort of pent up desire to be able to have your fat man gun say John Cena every time you fire it, right? Which is
important.
one of my favorite mods. Yeah, it's really important. I love that.
So could you like change the dog to make it look like your dog? Like, is that what are we talking about? I'm with mods. Is it really anything? Like you can make yourself look like you?
Yeah, you're really talking about anything that you can think of, and anything that you can make the game do using the tools they provide. You could theoretically do, right? I know one of the more popular mods in previous games was the so-called nude mod, where, you know, when you take off all your character's clothes, they usually have like some kind of underwear on for modesty, right? So the nude mod would make them go actually nude, which, I don't know, I guess some people like that sort of
Yeah. I mean, that's what it says. It says you can have select anatomical enhancements also.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're talking about larger muscles, larger
Got it.
teeth, or what, you know, smaller teeth or wider teeth.
Bigger eyes. Yeah.
Bigger eyes.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Was it just 5 times the initial PC mod launch numbers? It was 50 times.
50
so
times.
that's crazy. That's some crazy uptake.
So that's pretty far out. You know, with this, obviously they've been having the storage as an obstacle there, but you also have a content pipeline being an obstacle, because you're talking about people at home who are using the developer tools to kick at this game and make it do things, you know, that it wasn't designed to do, and usually in fun ways. This is not new. I mean, this goes back to, I remember when we were playing a lot of Quake and Doom, there were what they called total conversion mods, where you could make it be like aliens instead of, you know, so you'd run around. People would create these wild scenarios just to take this core game and turn it into artistic expression in ways you never expected. So I guess that's more than 20 years ago now. Mm-hmm. So to bring this finally to consoles means that the pipeline where you can actually send and download these pieces of content has now gotten robust enough to support it. And we also have an ecosystem in place, at least on the Xbox, where you can look for these mods and sift through them and, you know, and find the ones you want, and then, you know, whatever, pay for them or not, and download them and install them. A lot of technological hurdles, and a lot of, I would imagine, partnership hurdles for Xbox to be willing to open their ecosystem and open their console to user-created code. That's, I wouldn't have expected it this year, but for it to get done is a pretty big achievement.
What's the difference between a mod and a skin?
A skin is a piece of art and can be contained in a mod. I guess it'd be like the difference between whiskey and bourbon, right? Not all whiskey is bourbon, but all bourbons are whiskey. Not all mods are skins, but all skins are mods. So a skin would be the piece of art that you use to change your character in the game from wearing underwear to being nude, right? Or from looking like you to looking like John Cena. But mods can do all kinds of things. As we already mentioned, they could change audio. I don't know which one this is that we're seeing right now, but they can completely change all of the monsters. They can change what they do. They can change the setting of the game. Mods can make Fallout look and play like a completely different game if the creator of the mod wanted to do that. So really, there's no end to it. And as I think what we're seeing here is similar to what we're seeing with the phenomenon that Minecraft became. That when you give gamers the tools to unleash their creativity, there's no limit to what they'll come up with.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, another Be Who You Are in gaming news, creators of the life simulation video series The Sims have worked with an LGBT advocacy group, GLAD, on a new update to the game that will remove gender boundaries from the characters. The Associated Press says the gender-specific clothing, hairstyles, and other features will not be limited to any specific character based on gender. So this is a game, I'm absolutely showing my ignorance on gaming. This is a game that doesn't allow mods, but you can make these choices where in the past you could not make these choices. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that was my reaction when I saw this news too. I was like, really? I'm like, this is great, but like, really?
Like in the past, you just had to be a boy or a girl, period, and have like boy or girl features.
Yeah, and I remember when the original Sims came out, and this is not new in games. I think it's been in the last several years that game developers have come to terms with the idea that people who are men want to play female characters, or people who are female want to play male characters, or people or vice versa, or all combinations. And what naturally follows then is the idea that, well, if I'm playing a female character, maybe I still want to wear a tuxedo. Why wouldn't I be able to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think when we first, games as a medium are still maturing to where the idea that the person who's coding that in the original game is going to be thinking about all those things, right? And not thinking about, like, in terms of databases where, okay, we have X number of pieces of clothing, and we need to figure out a way to organize them. So we're going to make them male and female, and that simplifies the equation, by half, right? So now we need to figure out tops and bottoms, and that's a decision somebody makes when they're making the game. I think we are slowly getting to the point where in games development, people are stopping to think about that before saying the boy avatar is going to be pink or blue and the girl avatar is going to be pink, right? Actually considering that there's a difference, between their experience and the experience of what the player has, or maybe, there's the player expectation is a little bit broader than what they would anticipate. So I think it's great that The Sims now allows female characters to wear male clothing and vice versa. I think it's long overdue.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably symptomatic of the fact that EA is a massive company and things change slowly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is interesting. Like, this was an Associated Press story, and they didn't really point that out. They just said, like, hey, look, isn't it great that they're doing this? But yeah, you make a really good point. Like, why did it take you so long?
Especially on a game that is so customizable around persona, right, and around people, that you would imagine that anyone might want to dress any way they choose. And it's very strange that was not a feature before now, but happy that it's there. Finally, there's a story of a woman who took to Facebook to message Dream Games, developers of a game called Operation Caucasus. The developer said those who wanted a key for early access to the game could contact them and they would get a key for early access. But apparently the woman's avatar, Facebook avatar, was upsetting to the person managing the account. What happened here, Russ?
Yeah, so this was a person who wanted to take advantage of Dream Games' offer for a free code, and using the Steam service, you have an avatar and you have a profile, and the developer apparently saw that this person's avatar was in support of LGBT rights, and told them in very firm language to F off. We do not support LGBT rights, and you are not getting a code from us, right? So there's a couple issues there. I think number one, you have that interaction, right? That game developer offering to make a code available to anyone, then deciding to deny it to that one particular person. I guess that's their right. I don't know. But I probably wouldn't have phrased it in that way, or or maybe that's not really great public relations to do that, and then B, do it with such vigor, let's say. So I think so the player then wanted to make this known or express their displeasure, in which you can't comment on a games page if you don't have that game in your library. So they borrowed a friend's code. They took to become a player of the game according to the Steam system, and then left their feedback explaining what happened. So I think it's unfortunate. We're seeing that, and this ties into what we were talking about earlier, right? The more these civil rights struggles become present in mainstream society, the more they sort of trickle into different corners of media and in game development. We're seeing things like this, where apparently this person manning that Steam page just really had a problem with LGBT rights and issues, which I guess is their privilege. But to react in that way was pretty vile, and I think it. They seem to have apologized later. There was an update that the company apologized and promised to did they say they were actually going to go ahead and fire the person? I know they promised to take action.
They said they did. They said that we fired
Yeah.
the editor and managing director from the team for the incident, and it won't happen again.
And it won't happen again. It's been interesting. I'll tell you what, it's been interesting in games the last few years as some of these political debates have trickled into the community and groups of players have polarized around one side or another. I'm a little surprised that this didn't turn into a touch point and launch another wave of that debate. I'm glad it didn't, and it seems like the developers' quick action in rectifying and dealing with that particular person maybe helped solve them some pain.
Yeah,
Saved them from some pain.
This might be another too big of a question to answer this quickly, but I mean, it's not difficult to find horrible corners everywhere in the internet. And like you said, the last couple of years in gaming have been very difficult. Do you think it's still worse than other places in the internet, or do you think it's gotten better and it's similar to just any day we could go to any community on the internet and find someone that's being horrible to someone else? Or do you think that the gaming community is still a little bit worse than other places in the internet?
That's a really interesting question. I've actually been thinking about that a lot recently. And the more I think about it, the more I come to think that it's not worse. And it's not inherently worse anyway. I think it's easy to be in the gaming community and to see more of these types of behaviors and to be affected by them. And I think it's possible for it to feel worse. But what I think is happening is that it's not that these are not behaviors that are inherent to the gaming community, and they're certainly not the only place in the world or the internet even where people act and behave in terrible ways. I think by the nature of the gaming community, people are encouraged to come together. This is where we come together and play together in teams of like 10 or 16 or hundreds even, depending on the game. So I think there's a sort of natural tendency in the gamer community to be open to connecting with others in a way that maybe other communities don't allow, right? Like by watching a film, you're only exposing yourself to like the 50 or other people that can fit into that theater, right? But playing an online game or being part of an online game community, you're open to communication all over the world. And I think that combined with the prevalence of gaming in society today, more and more people are gamers. I think it's something like 125 million, according to one statistic I read. That's a lot of people playing games. So I think the more people we have playing games, and the easier it is for those people to interact with each other, we're just by virtue going to be exposed to a lot of different opinions, some of which are terrible.
Yeah. Welcome to the internet, unfortunately, I think is the answer to that question.
Yep.
But yeah, hopefully, at least there's an awareness. There's a growing awareness now, and that's in many ways the beginning of kind of a better scenario all around. So at least there's that. TNT's fan of the day is Costa Christodoulou. At P. Salis. I feel like I'm talking a foreign language right now, and I apologize if I destroyed your name. On Twitter, who says, "This was my morning podcast drive to work today. Oh, yeah. TNT helping you through the commute, one traffic jam at a time." I'm sure you're not alone, Costa. I'm sure many people listen to us while stuck in traffic on their way to work. Show us how you watch or listen to TNT. Just record a video, take a picture of yourself or your setup, post it on Instagram, Google+, Twitter, or Facebook, and use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT, and we'll find it.
If you thought that one of the benefits of self-driving cars was going to be less honking, think again, at least for now. The Verge spotted a note in Google's latest autonomous car report that describes how the company is developing the voice of the self-driving car. In other words, Google's new robot cars will soon be able to honk autonomously. So it's really interesting when you read it because they're really trying to humanize, I think, the car, make you feel more comfortable. They're adding engine noise where there isn't. I mean, there isn't any. I think other cars have also done that too. But it is here. They're trying to make us believe that the robot is human, people.
Human enough. I envision that tiny little car having the horn that goes.
They do say that our self-driving cars aim to be polite, considerate, and only honk when it makes driving safer for everyone.
Good.
That's what I intend to do also, but it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, next they're going to be playing video games and commenting on forums. It's the end of it, unless it only brings me avocados, and only when I ask for it. Then I don't know. I'm tinfoil hat time on self-driving cars. I think this is the end of the world. So you should probably
really?
don't call on me.
Oh no, I'm curious.
Because I as I said in the show the other day, I got pulled over just for being a bad driver the other day. Just like I was like in the median, because I normally drive a minivan, and I was in my Mini Cooper, which has a different steering. And yeah, I'm all in on self-driving cars because they're better than me.
I like that as a tagline, actually. For
it's a better driver than me.
Our self-driving car is a better driver than you. Yeah, that's it. That works. That is a really loud horn. I think if Google wants to, warm people up to the idea of these cars on the road, they should not pick that horn.
No.
But I do think that the car needs a backstory. It needs a backstory,
All AI does.
a personality. It needs a loudspeaker so it can talk to people on the street and other cars. I think there are a lot of places that this car can go.
Yeah, it looks like Herbie. You remember Herbie?
I remember Herbie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maybe some people watching don't remember Herbie,
Yeah.
but I remember Herbie.
Russ, how about you? You remember Herbie?
I do remember Herbie.
Okay.
I loved Herbie. I love that little bug.
Well, Russ, thank you again for joining. Oh, there's Herbie.
Yeah, there's Herbie.
There's Herbie. Oh no!
The future. We're looking at the future. Even though this is a picture from the past, this is also the future right here.
So, Russ, what have you been working on lately? What can you tell us that you've been working on?
Oh yeah, well, big news since last time. The documentary film I'm working on about the Desert Bus for Hope charity fundraiser was funded on Kickstarter.
Nice.
So we got fully funded and then some. So we're going ahead with that project. We're actually in pre-production. We did active production a couple months ago, but we're pre-producing the rest of the film now. We're planning a shoot that may or may not involve some celebrities I can't quite name yet. So very exciting times for that. And I've been doing a lot of work with the charity Take This. We just got invited to the E3 Electronic Entertainment Expo to bring our AFK Room program to that show for the very first time, and that's in like 2 weeks. So
great, yeah,
very
we'll be there. So maybe we can we can talk to you from there because we'll have a team that will be at E3. So maybe we'll try to get on your schedule.
Yeah, give me a call. Talk to my watch and see if you can get on my busy schedule. No, it'd be great. I would love to see you. I would love to see you there. It would be fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Russ. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you, Russ.
Okay.
Always a pleasure. Have a great night.
Bye.
We'll talk to you
thank you
soon.
too.
All right, TNT records live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. UTC at twit.tv/live. You can be a part of the show by emailing us at tnt@twit.tv. You can also leave us a short voicemail at 260-TNT-SHOW. And you can find the show on Twitter. We are at Tech News Today TV.
And thank you so much for sticking around till the bitter end of the show. You have no other choice but to listen tomorrow if you subscribe to the show at twit.tv/TNT. And if you want to tweet at me, I'm at Megan Morrone.
And I'm at Jason Howell. Thanks to our technical director, Brian Burnett. Actually, the Burnett brothers are on the hook today. So thanks to the Burnett brothers for helping us with this show and everyone who helps us produce the show every single day. Thanks to you for sticking around and talking tech with us today. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.